Okay, focus right now. Look at the screens, because what you're seeing isn't temporary. This is it. This is the confirmation. The big one. Warning Mike Maloney's been talking about.
It's unfolding.
Yes. We just saw gold spike towards, what, $4,200?
Yeah.
Before a hard correction, back to $4,000. And silver hit $50 first time in ages, then bam, pulled back violently to $48.
And that volatility, that extreme movement, Maloney's point is that this isn't just market noise, it's bigger.
That's the beginning.
It's the market openly rejecting the whole narrative from the Fed. It's the start, he believes, of a much more aggressive, much more chaotic phase. It's driven by this deep lack of confidence in the system itself.
Right. Which is why we need to move fast here. We're
Yes.
doing a rapid-fire breakdown of Maloney's message. We need to connect these three key things.
Hmm?
The Fed's, well, desperate admission, China's silent gold grab, and this really chilling comparison to Rome.
Yeah, how history is accelerating.
Exactly. This is stuff you need to know, like, today, not next week.
Absolutely. And look, if you're tracking this chaos, if you're trying to prepare for what looks like a huge wealth transfer, or, if you just appreciate us boiling down all this complex stuff,
Then hit subscribe.
no, you really need credit to stay ahead of these shifts. Seriously.
Okay, let's jump in. First piece. The system's cracking. The central banks are finally admitting it, saying the quiet part out loud. What did John C. Williams at the New York Fed actually say?
Well, it was pretty blunt for a Fed president. He urged central banks, quote, prepare for the unexpected in moments of disorder.
Wow. Moments of disorder.
Yeah. And Maloney's take is crystal clear.
Yep.
This is the Fed openly saying, we've lost control, our usual playbook. It's finished. They're getting ready to use, and this is the key phrase, absolutely every tool in their toolkit, including the most extreme emergency measures.
Okay, extreme emergency measures.
Yeah.
That sounds bad.
Mm-hmm.
What's left in the toolkit when, interest rates and QE haven't worked?
Well, that's the scary part, isn't it? When they talk about extreme, it could mean things like yield curve control, basically forcing interest rates down across the board, whether the market likes it or not.
Manipulating the entire market.
Or direct interventions, buying specific assets to stop a collapse. It's essentially them saying, we can't predict the next crisis, so we have to be ready for, well, anything. Maximum intervention.
So if the guys running the system are admitting they're flying blind and prepping these radical moves, the takeaway for you listening is pretty straightforward, isn't it?
It screams. Hold real money. Hold assets outside the system they're desperately trying to patch up.
Yeah.
Gold and silver.
Right. Which brings us to Maloney's strategy. He calls it the arithmetic of patience.
Mm-hmm.
It's about using the market's craziness to get more gold without spending more cash. How does that work, especially with silver?
Okay, so it hinges on silver being, well, way more volatile than gold. Silver's got this dual personality, right? It's money, but it's also heavily used in industry.
So industrial demand matters.
Hugely. During big scares, think 2008 or that COVID crash, industrial demand just evaporates, poof, and investors panic, sell it for cash. So silver gets hammered way harder than gold.
And the gold-silver ratio blows out.
Exactly. It shoots up, sometimes 80 to 1, 90 to 1, even higher historically. That's the moment Maloney says to accumulate silver. Buy it when it's dirt cheap relative to gold.
And then you wait.
Then you wait. Patience is absolutely key here. This isn't quick. It can take years. You wait for the ratio to fall back down, ideally towards 20 to 1, maybe even lower. That happens when silver eventually makes its massive rebound, often outperforming gold on the way up.
And that's when you trade.
That's when you convert. Swap that accumulated silver for gold. And because you bought silver when the ratio was sky high and sold it when it was low,
You end up with much more gold.
potentially 4, even 5 times more gold than if you just bought gold initially. It's simple math, really. But you have to stomach the ride. Silver can crash hard and stay down. You need that patience.
Okay, so Fed panic gives us that short-term play. But the bigger picture, the long game,
Yeah.
that's shifting east, isn't it? China?
China. The big mystery in the gold market. They are deliberately extremely opaque. Their official reserve reports, they often show these sudden jumps, usually way after the fact. It leads everyone to suspect they're seriously underreporting.
How big is the gap between official and suspected numbers?
Well, officially, they might say something around maybe 6,000 tons now. But the credible estimates, they go way higher. Some analysts think China, through various state entities and funds, could hold as much as 20,000 tons.
20,000 compared to the U.S.
The U.S. officially holds around 8,000 tons. So yeah, There's a very real possibility China already has significantly more physical gold than the US, but they're keeping it quiet. Strategic advantage, you know?
And this is where Maloney shifts the focus, right? He always hammers this home. It's not just about total tons, it's personal. It's ounces per capita.
Precisely. Because when you divide those big numbers by the population, the story flips. The US, with its 8,000 tons spread over 330 million people, it ranks somewhere around, what, 12th globally? Maybe lower now?
So smaller countries can be way ahead per person,
Exactly. Places like Switzerland, maybe Singapore, it puts things in perspective.
which makes the metric incredibly personal for you listening. If you hold even 1 ounce of gold, you're already way ahead of the global average person.
Calculate it for your own family. Ounces per person in your household, that's your real scorecard for getting through whatever's coming.
Okay, quick pause. If you're finding this useful, connecting the dots between Fed strategy, global politics, history, and you want to protect your wealth,
Then please take a second right now, subscribe, stay informed. You don't want to be learning this stuff after the fact.
definitely not. Okay, let's shift to the really chilling part of Maloney's warning, connecting today's digital money printing to the end game. It's like history repeating, but way faster.
Yeah, the acceleration is key. He draws this direct line between the US dollar losing its value over the last 100 years or so and the Roman Empire debasing its silver coin, the denarius.
But Rome took ages, right?
Centuries. Over 250 years for Rome to wreck their currency. We've basically done the same amount of damage, maybe more, in about 100 years. We're on an accelerated path to zero confidence.
And how we're doing it is different. That's the critical part.
Yeah,
Rome was stuck in the physical world.
right. They had to physically collect silver taxes, melt the coins down, mix in cheaper metals like copper, mint new, debased coins, and then slowly get them back into circulation. It was cumbersome, localized almost.
But today,
Today, we have digital alchemy. Governments don't need a furnace and a mint, they need a keyboard. There's that incredible quote from Joseph Wang, who used to be a senior trader at the New York Fed.
the guy who actually did the QE
The
trade,
guy. He described himself as basically the one person who could spend more money than anyone in history just by typing trillions into existence during QE.
let's just sit with that. QE, quantitative easing, it sounds technical, but what does that digital alchemy really mean for you listening?
Okay, QE is essentially the central bank creating digital money reserves out of absolutely nothing. Thin air. Then they use that newly created money to buy government bonds, mortgages, whatever they need to prop up.
Instantly created.
Instantly. Wang's point was those trillions didn't exist 1 second, and the next second, poof, they did because he typed them in. Modern debasement doesn't need a melting pot. It dilutes the entire global supply of that currency instantly with keystrokes. Every round of QE, every stimulus check accelerates the value destruction.
It removes all the friction, all the physical limits Rome had. It just erodes the value foundation much, much faster.
And the core warning hasn't changed through history. The real breaking point is when confidence snaps. Once people lose faith in the currency, and it's not a slow decline anymore,
It's a cliff.
it's a cascade. Currencies fall like dominoes. Maloney is adamant. We are so close to zero confidence in this system right now.
And just like in Rome, when the currency failed, when the empire crumbled, who protected themselves?
The elites, the senators, the wealthy, they hoarded the real stuff, gold, land. They preserved their wealth while everything burned around them.
Same playbook, different era, different costumes, as Maloney says.
Which means this shift we're talking about, it's fundamentally a massive wealth transfer. From people holding paper promises, digital IOUs, often the unprepared middle class, to those holding real physical assets. Gold and silver aren't just like a hedge.
They're lifeboats.
Exactly. Lifeboats you need for what comes after the storm, for the rebuilding.
Okay, so let's pull back. We've got the Fed panicking, China hoarding gold secretly, and this terrifying speed of digital debasement. What's the final thought we should leave people mulling over?
I think it's that observation from Arnold Bertrand. He pointed out that this massive shift, this potential crack-up of the whole global money system, it's one of the biggest turning points in history, and yet relative silence around it. The depth of the confidence loss isn't really being talked about in the mainstream, is it? The knowledge is there, but hidden in plain sight.
And that's why we do this, trying to help you save your family's wealth, one crucial insight at a time. So we'll leave you with Mike Maloney's 3 essential questions. Answer them honestly, right now. Fast pace. 1. System resets tomorrow morning. What part of your wealth actually survives? 2. Look at your portfolio, your assets. Do you own more paper promises, more digital digits, or more real physical stuff?
And 3, that gold-silver ratio. When it crashes down again, as it likely will, are you positioned? Do you have the silver ready to make that conversion, potentially multiplying your gold stash?
Remember, this isn't just about trying to perfectly time the market top. It's simpler. It's about owning something real, something lasting, when everything else feels like it's breaking.
Gold is your foundation, your security. Silver, that's your leverage, your opportunity. Together, they're your insurance policy against the unthinkable.
Found this essential? Then make sure you are subscribed. Turn notifications on. You cannot afford to miss these updates. Until next time, stay strong, stay stacked.
And